I'm actually on my last leg of one of my trips that I went to Las Vegas and San Diego to the arena, to work with the Navy SEALs. It was an awesome trip. James and I are going to talk about it. So sit tight and check it out, man.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Yamatodamashii podcast. My name is James, and of course, I'm joined by Enson. Enson, how are you?
Good, man.
Good. Well, today we're going to be talking about your USA trip, as it's nearly coming to an end. So we thought, you know what? Why don't we just have a chat about how it went and look back at some of the highlights, some of the things you posted on your social media, just to give a bit more context around some of the stuff. But yeah, take us back to the beginning. What actually happened when you were getting to the US, when you actually got your flight? I knew you were bringing a sword, right?
Yeah, usually before I get on the plane, I usually buy fill the whole luggage with like chocolates from Japan, and that way I always overbuy. So I just give out to people that I always forget to give people. So I give to people I want to give, and I always have a whole thing. But this time at the check-in, I checked in. A friend from the States, ordered a real samurai sword, like authentic one, 300 years old. So what the plan was for the polisher to send it directly to him. But I don't know if it's because of COVID or what. For some reason, she wasn't able to send it. And instead of going through all these avenues and try to find a way to send it, I said, you know what, I'm going to go. I'll take it. So she's an expert, or her and her uncle are experts in Cryotherapy. Her uncle is Sarah's teacher, and they knew all the the ins and outs of what paperwork they needed and everything. So they got me the paperwork. I brought it down, and so I hand carry. I was gonna not hand carry. I had to check it in because the samurai sword is like carrying a gun. So I had to check it in, and when I went to check it in, man, holy shit! It was kind of interesting to see because they treated the samurai sword as a Japanese treasure. So one, they don't like it going out of the country. If it does, they want to make sure that it's properly, it's a proper sword, and it's not going to be what is that? They're not going to fake the type of sword or something. So what they did was, so I gave them the paperwork. We had to wait a long time because they had to call someone out from the TSA to come. The TSA guys came. They also brought another case, a huge case, to put it in. It was really weird because when they got the paperwork, the actual paperwork, I had copies of it too to give to the guy. For the actual paperwork, they had to take it. So that was like the licensing of the sword, and they said they didn't want to let it out because then people would just keep selling it all over and selling it for outrageous prices and stuff. So they didn't want that to happen. So they wanted to keep the sword with the owner that's going to take it next.
Oh.
It was weird. So they wouldn't let me take the papers. So I had to give the guy the copies, and it was amazing because they put it in a huge box for me. And what they explained to me was this is one of Japan's treasures. So they're going to make sure, although it was mine and I was bringing it to a friend, they didn't want their treasure to get damaged. So they brought it up in this huge stainless steel case. And I was happy because it's like, oh, yeah, that helps me because I packed it as good as I could. But I always thought that, I don't know, man, I hope this is okay. And when they brought that stainless case out, I was like, oh, perfect. But, little did I know that the time ran out. So they wanted to escort me to, so before I had to escort the sword, and they wanted me to be with the sword until it went into the chute to go to the plane.
Right.
But they had to take me to that TSA place on the side in the back. They had to scan it again. They had to check the paperwork again. And then I had to stay there until the thing went down the ramp. And I kind of wanted to buy the presents for the people yet. So I knew that once you checked in, they're going to hold the plane for you.
Mm-hmm.
And even, you know, I'm thinking, okay, even if I go stop and buy stuff, I'll still like be right on time. You know, I wasn't going to be like super late and make everyone wait. But hey, man, they wouldn't let me go. A man and a lady decided they were going to escort me all the way to the gate. And the thing is, the lady was like trying to tell me to run because she was running and she told me to run. I'm like, what? I'm not running. I'm getting all sweaty before I get on the plane.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, man, I actually got there and didn't have any time to buy any gifts.
No,
and just barely made the plane, man. So yeah, so that was the whole start of the trip, man. Like, whoa, almost missed the plane because of the samurai sword.
That's crazy. It's really cool though that they kind of treat it as such a valuable gift, you know, that it's got to go through all those checks and that sort of thing. I mean, it's a bit of a mission for you, but at the same time, I kind of see where they're coming from. Like, given
then when I arrived in San Diego,
mm-hmm.
I had to wait on the side. They got it out, and they escorted me all the way outside the airport, and then they gave it to me. So they wouldn't. I mean, all the way outside the immigration and the customs.
No way.
Yeah, they wouldn't give it to me until I was outside the airport. It was, I don't know, it was really weird. They opened up the case and I took out the box that I had it in. So that was kind of weird, but
yeah, I guess security wise, but crazy.
Well, anyway, the exciting thing was once I got on the plane, I was the guy who runs the SEALs combative course.
Mm-hmm.
He got me a ticket out here, and it was on it was on ANA. I usually fly Delta, but it was on ANA and it was a business class. Nice. And oh my god, I flown Delta business class, and it's a super nice business class. It's a flat bed, you can lie flat. But this ANA one, man, it was amazing. It was there was more space. Like the Delta ones, the sides touched my shoulders. But this one is like I was looking at the side and I was saying, oh, Sarah could actually sit right next to me in this.
They got that much space.
Yeah, that much space. The TV screen was twice as big as the Delta screen.
Yeah.
The food was good too, man.
Yeah, that's so important.
I mean, oh man, I mean, like the whole flight was amazing. I mean, I was actually thinking like, shit, should I change to ANA, man? Because the ANA first class, the international first class, is like by far, I think the best first class I've ever rode before.
Mm-hmm.
I've rode a bunch of first class, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've heard good things about ANA. I've flown with obviously British Airways is common over here, and but sometimes it's Air Japan as well. When I've been to Japan a few times,
I like Delta because they have so much partner airlines that are real convenient. So
yeah,
but man, I was like thinking of becoming a trailer and going to ANA, man. I was like, oh, this is crazy first class, man. Never had it. And I'm actually excited because on my way back, I'm in business class again. So I'll get
nice.
that laid down, have a good flight back. But yep, so the flight there was so awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was such a nice flight, and got there and got everything taken care of. It was really nice, man.
Yeah. So you touched on it. So the initial reason for the trip was the training with the SEALs, right? So how did that come about? Is that something you do often? And how important is it to you?
Yeah, the owner of the arena, he has a contract with the Navy SEALs, and he sends instructors over. And 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to be a guest there, and I went to be a guest, and man, I love the whole system. I love the whole course. They're training them the proper way. So it's an exciting thing for me to serve my country. I mean, I couldn't serve in the military. I'm too old to join the military, and this is a way that I can kind of give back to the people who help make give us our freedom. So so it's for me, it's an awesome opportunity. So yeah, so 4 years ago I was a guest, and then from then on he wanted me to come out for every SEALs course. I couldn't make it to every one, especially now of course with COVID. It's a 4-week course. The last week is a knife course, so I could actually come for 3 weeks, but 3 weeks is really hard for me to clear my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so I came out for a 2-weeker, and man, it was unreal. They got another one in January. I'm planning to come out to that. Hopefully I can make the 3 weeks this time. We'll see what my schedule's like, but it's an awesome thing, man. And you know the Navy SEAL, all these guys they passed the buds. They're already actual Navy SEALs. Some of them have been deployed. And you got these guys we're training are going to be instructors. And when you're talking about guys who passed the test in SEALs, you're not talking about regular people. Mm-hmm. You're talking a really special group of guys. And man, it's a pleasure for me to work with them. It's a pleasure to be a part of what they do for our country. Yeah.
Cool. And so your other reason for your trip, right, was Tsuyoshi's training.
Yeah, so we kind of tied it in together, yeah. That if I'm going to be here, the arena gym here in San Diego is also an awesome gym. Got Barrett Yoshida as one of the coaches. Got a lot of good striking coaches. So we figured, Tsuyoshi needs big guys to train with. He needs to get exposed to, international. I also want his face to be seen around. Mm-hmm. So that was the second part of the trip too, is to have him come out with me.
Yeah. And he got some success, right, while he was there. He got his blue belt.
Yeah. So, Tsuyoshi been improving really fast. He's only been training with me for a year, mm-hmm. but he's been improving in leaps and bounds. I really felt like his ground got really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, his last fight didn't show it. He panicked, but he's really got really good ground. And I don't feel like I have a good assessment of jiu-jitsu levels. So I thought he would be a blue, but I wasn't sure. So when he came here, Barrett Yoshida trained under my brother. He's like one of my students that I used to train in MMA. Mm-hmm. And he, I asked his assessment. I said, hey, Barrett, what do you think? He goes, oh, yeah, by far, purple, blue belt, he told me. Mm-hmm. He told me he's like past, he's choked out a purple belt, a brown belt. He's been, passing the guard and reversing the blue belts. One of his real tough blue belts, they had like really good matches. So it was awesome, man. So when they had at the arena, every time I come out, I'd usually run a seminar. Mm-hmm. And then after the seminar, they have a belt promotions. And I talked to Barrett and I said, hey, what do you think about surprising Tsuyoshi and promoting him to blue during the belt ceremony? And Barrett was like, oh, sure, he'd love to. And that's what happened. And Tsuyoshi didn't know.
Oh, that's cool.
So when his name was called, he was kind of like, oh, what the hell's going on,
Yeah, yeah.
And the people, the thing with Tsuyoshi, he's such a nice boy that everybody loves him. Mm-hmm. So when he was going up, they're pounding him mad and they was giving him the cheers like he was one of the, like they do for their other teammates. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he was super tickled, super excited, super happy. And, the arena and Barrett and, the people, the students at the arena, man, they made it really special for him.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's an important part of a fighter's career, sort of doing a bit of international travel, training with different places? Does it overall like sort of help your sort of MMA knowledge and experience for getting prepared into the ring?
Well, for him, I think he doesn't have big people to train with in Japan. So for him, yeah, for just training with the big boys, guys his size, guys close to his size, is super good for him. As far as the experience of traveling, the ups and downs of traveling, renting a car, I think overall as a person, Tsuyoshi's been a sumo wrestler from 15.
Wow.
He didn't go to school.
Yeah. Straight
into the sumo stables and just got out 2 years ago. So he's been very, living in a real small bubble. Mm-hmm. It was perfect for him. He had to go, he ran a car, drive his car. And sometimes I'm not around. He has to go order his food and, do his stuff on his own. So, I mean, overall, I always want my students to understand that fighting isn't the end of the world. Mm-hmm. It's not the end line of your life. I always thought it was. That's why I was willing to die in the ring. But as I know now, my knowledge, my wisdom as an older person and going through all that, I know that it's not. So I'd like them to everything they can get out of fighting. I'd love it. Every opportunity we have, I would love it to branch out to him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all the experience he has in fighting, when he's retired, he has a lot of gains and pluses that he'll take onto his life as a man. So, you know, that I think the traveling is a really good thing for him. So, yeah, it's awesome. And you know, the funny thing is, an incident happened in San Diego where when we were at the SEALs, the second to the last day, we heard that one of the instructors tested positive for COVID.
Oh no!
And we were in the car with him.
Shit.
So what I decided to do was I decided to you know, just social distance.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I was, you know, it was so weird because I don't know if it psychologically occurred or not. But as soon as me and the guy in the car realized that, you know, we were in the car with him for 30 minutes the day before he tested positive, we looked at each other like, holy shit. And I looked at him and I said, oh, you know, I got a scratchy throat, man. He goes, me too. And then we started going like, holy fuck, you know. So what we decided to do was take precautions. You know, they say that if you have a fever, you have any type of cough or anything, to take precautions and isolate. So that's what we decided to do. Is so we isolated and the only problem was I had a seminar planned. And if I did have COVID, because I was actually in contact with a positive person, you know, I had no fever. I had a slight cough. I had a runny nose. And so, you know, I mean, I was thinking to myself, if this is COVID ain't shit, you know. But I am vaccinated, so maybe the vaccination helped me. I don't know what to believe nowadays in the news, but so what we decided to, just in case I wouldn't get close to anybody, I put on an I-94 mask until I get to the gym. Then we decided with the gym, instead of me doing hands-on technique, we decided to just do like a question and answer. And you know, the seminar is $40 each. And I really didn't feel right. You know, people came in thinking they're going to have, I always do a lot of talk, because when you do a seminar for me, the gains isn't necessarily technique. Their teacher, Barrett Yoshida, is awesome. He probably can teach better technique than me. I do have different ones that he doesn't teach. But, you know, as far as technique wise, I think a lot of the people can gain is from my mind process, my mental aspect of my game. So I always do like a half and half. I do technique and I do talk. But this time, because we didn't want to get too close to people, I decided I'm going to sit in the ring far away, get a mic, and have everyone sit at least like 20 feet away. And we sat out and we did a question answer.
That's cool.
So, you know, we did that and it went really well. It kept going where we continuously had questions. It was interesting questions, very interesting questions. I think the Arena videoed it, and they're going to be putting out like little excerpts of it. I think they put one out on their YouTube channel about talking about my when I demoted myself to purple belt. So somebody asked me about that, so I went and explained that. So what was amazing was the seminar went well, but it wasn't like a seminar that I promised. So I really didn't feel that it was proper for me to charge people. There was ideas put in my head like, why don't you just charge half? But for me, doing the seminar was, secondary was making money. Primary was, being a part of the awesome team and family that Barrett Yoshida has there in the arena, and just giving back what I can. Whatever knowledge I have, if I can help, I would love to, be a plus to their team. And so I told everybody that, because this is a totally different thing, I'm only talking. I can't show you any technique. I told them that anyone who has paid their seminar costs, go get a full refund. And I told the guys, if you didn't pay, don't pay. You guys are all good to go. So I told them that I'm doing it. I'm not charging them for the seminar. It's just a free seminar. And it was funny because there was one guy that I don't know if there's one guy just put thoughts into everyone else's head, but there's one guy just raised his hand and says, hey, I love what you do. I feel I got enough. I got my money's worth with what you said about the learning about the mental aspect of the game, which is super important. He said.
Mm-hmm.
He said that I got my $40 worth. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not getting a refund. So I was like, holy shit! I said, oh man, that's super awesome. I appreciate it. And I actually said that, man, I mean, don't feel like you guys have to do that too. I said, if you guys want to take that $40, go take your wife to dinner or get yourself a massage. Feel free to do that. I'm more than happy. I said, I don't expect anything. And I said, if any of you do decide to pay, I'll make sure I use that for the next mission up north. So the next mission we have in December, we're going to buy kids' shoes. And fuck, you know what, man?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody got a refund.
That's
not
insane.
a single person. Not a single person. Every single person paid full $40. So they made it. I think the amount that I made off the seminar, I think there were 59 people. So I believe that this next mission is going to be funded by just the members of the arena, man. So we're going to dedicate the mission on the 12th on December this year, where we're buying 88 shoes for the kids in the orphanage in Fukushima.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to be dedicated to the arena.
Wicked.
So
well, I'll chip in another 40, and then you got 60. So nice even number.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing, man.
Yeah, that's awesome though. It's so cool that the students there found your insights that valuable, and it speaks to yourself as a fighter, yourself as your career in general, that there's so much that you can offer in terms of like mental strength. Like when we did the fan Q&A, there's like loads of people were questions coming in about how do I deal with fear, how do I tackle my everyday life with the challenges that I have in my head. And there's no one in my eyes that's better to give any better insight than you. So it's cool that there's a lot of people that share that opinion.
Yeah, I love it that I was able to satisfy the people that in the arena, that it was an unfortunate situation. Yeah, and to continue with that, because I did have sniffles and a cough, I decided to postpone my trip. I was supposed to fly on the 24th, but I didn't feel comfortable getting in a plane. They say, if you have any symptoms, and they say cough, sniffles, they say to isolate. So I thought to myself that I'm gonna have to just isolate. And from what I understand from the San Diego Health Department, they told me 10 days since your first symptom, you're no longer contagious, if your symptoms are going away.
Yeah, that's
so. If your symptoms are still going skyrocketing, 10 days don't matter. But if I got at first sniffles at one day, and then whatever I had during those 5, 6, 7 days are starting to get better, they said count 10 days, and you don't need to isolate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't feel comfortable because I felt that was just way too general,
and
I didn't want to have, if I had COVID, and jump on a plane and everything. So what I did was on Friday, I was thinking of flying out on Saturday. So Friday I went down to take one of those free COVID tests that they have. And Saturday morning, before my flight, I got the results and it was negative.
Great. So
I was clear to go. And the thing was really unfortunate for Tsuyoshi was that I had to send him by himself because he was supposed to go. We were supposed to fly together on the 24th. Unfortunately, because of the COVID times, they allow you to change your flight without any penalties. So I got to change my flight from Tuesday to Saturday. I just extended a little longer so that I could make sure my symptoms are gone and I'm no longer contagious, and I had a negative result. So I wanted to make sure I did that before I jumped on the plane, and I got it on Friday, jumped on Saturday, and went to meet Tsuyoshi in Las Vegas.
That's cool. He seemed like he kept quite busy though. I saw a picture of him and Francis Ngannou, so he looked like he was training with some top level athletes. Yeah,
in Vegas, I got really fortunate because the coaches in Extreme Couture, Eric Nicksack, Eddie, there's Eric, Eddie, there's Ray, Don, Ron. There's a bunch of guys there that it's funny because a lot of the young fighters don't know who I am, but the coaches all know who I am.
Yeah.
I was fortunate that when I got to message them, they allowed us to join the team.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Tsuyoshi, they allowed Tsuyoshi to actually jump into the pro training, and the pro training had Tim Johnson from Bellator, big boy.
Yeah,
had Francis Ngannou. There was a whole bunch of guys. Jake Shields was training there. Even Kevin Lee. A lot of guys. Even Aljamain Sterling was there.
Nice.
Misha Tate. Yeah, so a bunch of good people to train with. So,
yeah,
we got really lucky that Extreme Couture, they have a team that's like a family, and that's how I run my gyms too. So it's such a familiar way to run. They got awesome coaches, and I go and watch all the training because I'm Tsuyoshi's coach, and I want to see how he's doing, and I want to see what I can give him tips on, and I learn too.
Yeah.
When I watched the pro wrestling MMA class, and some of those techniques the guys are showing was like, wow, I'm learning from this too.
Yeah, right. The game evolves, right? So it's quite cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not going to say I'm an OG or a pioneer of the sport, and I know everything about the sport. I mean, I'm not going to say it just because I know everything about the sport.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn, man, and Extreme Couture not only has great technique and great coaches, they have a great atmosphere in the gym. So, Tsuyoshi is keeping really busy. There's so many good classes to take. There's pro classes in the morning and the evening. There's Jake Shields runs a class. There's a good jiu-jitsu coach there. There's good weights. That gym is amazing. So I think we found a really good home in the States for Tsuyoshi. And he loves it. He loves the people, and everyone's super nice to him.
That's great. Yeah, no, I think it'll pay dividends for him in the long run. Having all that sort of high level experience and just mixing it up. And as you say, like the journey, right? Because life's not all about your fight record and your win streak. It's also about like the fun that you have and the experiences you have doing the training. So at least they'll be able to, look back on this.
For sure. Making a lot of good friends too, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. So one of the things I noticed as well is while you were out in the States, it seemed like you did quite a few different sort of therapies in terms I saw you and Tsuyoshi doing the cryotherapy. At one point you were doing some like electric simulation acupuncture, some cupping. Is that something that's important to you, like part of the trip to just try out those things? Is it stuff you do regularly? Or?
Well, my body's busted up, so every chance I can to get it better. And one of the coaches at the arena, Coach Chuck, he does acupuncture. So he actually, offered to work on me. So I was like, I'm not going to turn it down. So when one of our days off is, we went to his office, and he massaged me and acupuncture, the electric stimulating, and it was amazing, man. It was one of the few times that I really walked out of the place with my shoulders feeling really loose. So it was awesome. Yeah. So I got to do that. In Vegas, we, Shoshi's training really hard. So his muscles got really tired. And, technology has shown us that cryotherapy is one of the really good treatments. So we went in, and, I didn't know which cryotherapy to go to. So I was asking some of the guys at Extreme Couture, but a lot of them are UFC fighters, so they can go to the UFC Institute to get cryo.
Oh wow, they have that there.
Yeah, so a lot of them wasn't that sure. So what I decided to do was just Google Maps, Google cryotherapy, and then the ones that are around our area, I just started calling them up, and there was one that was really amazing, Savage 3 it's called, and I talked to one of the owners. They call her T, so we'll just call her T. But I talked to T, and it was $50 for a crowd for 3 minutes, which is a pretty good price because Japan is $100 for 3 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like $50 for 3 minutes, so it's kind of cool. I was like, wow, and then she said that if you become a member and all this kind, you can get it for a cheaper rate. And was like, Tsuyoshi doesn't. He's only here for a month, so of course he's not going to become a member. And then she goes, so we're this thing. We just pay $50 a shot every time he has to go in. And then she was super cool, man. She was like, wait, okay, wait, let me work with you. If that's the case, it's a special case. Just let me work with you. She allowed us to purchase a 10-pack, and she gave him a 10-pack for $250, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we went in, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
we got to do cryotherapy, and that Savage 3 place is really neat because they do a lot of different stuff. They do spot therapy.
Mm-hmm.
They also have, it looks like they had like a chiropractor or some type of adjustment area. They had a gym upstairs that they do striking and grappling. They had a gym across with cross-training equipment. So it was like, I think Savage Tree is like an institute where you go for recovery and building. So I think there's also cross-training people in there, yeah. But so we went in there and got a good cryotherapy. I think Tsuyoshi's going to I think he headed out today again to go make an appointment. So, yeah, it was, freaking good people all around us, man. We got lucky with that Savage 3. The lady was really helpful.
Yeah.
And, yeah, super awesome, man.
So speaking of good people, what happened with the hotel? Because in Vegas, you might have this massive suite with loads of food and.
Yeah, so when I went to the hotel, I didn't I didn't really book a hotel because I had so much because I play in the casinos. I had a lot of places offering complimentary nights, so I figured I may as well do that. So I got a 3-night complimentary in Venetian hotel. I've never stayed in the Venetian. It's a real high-class hotel. And I got a suite room. And the crazy thing is all I had to pay was the resort fees, which was $45 a night. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a $300 room or something, but I only I got a complimentary room, but just had to pay resort fees.
Okay.
And I went there and, it was an awesome room, man. It had like a living room and a bedroom and was really one of the nicer rooms I've ever stayed in as far as I've been staying in way nicer rooms, but as far as just by myself, it's one of the nicer rooms. Super nice. So I went in there and what's crazy was that I went to my room one of the nights and then there was like this huge platter of sandwiches and there was a little note that one of my friends in Hawaii, Jason Katara, he's like another OG in jiu-jitsu. So apparently his brother is the director at the Plaza, which is the brother, like I guess the Plaza and the Venetian are like joint hotels or affiliated hotels. So his brother is a director at the Plaza, and man, they sent me, that it was like, it's like more than I could eat. It was so many, it was tons of food. It was like 2 platters of sandwiches. It was water with sports drinks, water, and then they gave me like peanuts and nuts and chocolates and stuff. And I couldn't finish anything, but I grabbed some fruits to take. I took all the water and the sports drinks, and went home with a whole bag of extra amenities. Yeah,
it was mental. I've never seen so much food in my life. It looked like
I know, and I'm by myself too.
Yeah,
like, shit, Carol is here.
Yeah, exactly. Even the two of you probably would have struggled with that amount of food.
Yeah, we would have. Yeah, but what was kind of screwed up about the Venetian is they had a whole area of the refrigerator and even the in front of the TV they had a bunch of water and juice and the peanuts and stuff. And I never touched the stuff in the room because they're always like overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
But they had water, Fiji water, and then in the back of it they had this little like plastic bottles that said Venetian, and it was like their brand of water. So in my experience in traveling, a lot of times those are the complimentary waters because it's the hotel waters. Mm-hmm. They bring it for the guests and it's the hotel waters. So, water is always something that you can drink, especially in Vegas when it's over 100 degrees. So I figured I'll just take the water. When I went to check out, I was supposed to pay like $90. I paid 2 nights. So it was a $90 for the resort fees, and they charged me like 100 something, 130. I was like, whoa, how come it went so high? They said, oh, $7 per water. I'm like, what do you mean? The water's not complimentary. She said, no.
$7.
You know, so I didn't use anything. You know, I didn't use a fitness center. I didn't use the pool. I mean, I'm paying $45 for a resort fee that they're not going to give me complimentary water.
Yeah.
The thing is, my friend that the director in the Plaza, he gave me a whole complimentary thing full of water.
Yeah.
I mean, I had tons. Like I don't know. I think I had like 6 bottles of Fiji water. I had 3 sports drinks. You know, so they're giving me. He gave me like complimentary water, and it's like they're gonna charge me for this little. It was like, you know, those plastic bottles with Venetian tag on it. Like,
Yeah.
that's usually complimentary. If not, they should have made sure that they wrote a note or something. So it was kind of disappointing, man.
Yeah. It's a bit
I mean,
shitty, but
$7 for a water, that's so ridiculous.
that is mental.
Yeah, so that was the only downer of that staying at the Venetian. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I have to ask about this because I was shocked when I saw it. But then it kind of made sense when I thought about it. But you had your first time in an Uber.
Yeah, that was when I came back to San Diego.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you never used Uber before?
No, I've never used Uber because I always rented a car.
Right. Okay. And I guess it was in Japan, taxis are just
Japan, I have my own car. You know,
Yeah,
if anything, the train system is the perfect way to go.
Yeah.
Hawaii, I have my own car, so I've never ever needed to use Uber.
I just
Whenever I traveled, I always had a car. So,
okay.
but this time, it was late at night, and the guy that I stay with, I didn't want to have him come that late at night to come pick me up. So I told him, "Don't worry about it, I'll catch an Uber."
Mhm.
I actually downloaded the app
Yeah.
like just last week, yeah.
Yeah.
And I put my credit card details in. And it was amazing because I asked for an Uber. It said, "Okay, a white Previa will be coming towards you."
Mhm.
And I look on the thing, on the map, on the Uber, and it's showing this freaking car coming. Okay, he'll be there in 4 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm like, holy shit. And as the thing shows him coming in too, I could see the car come up.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I got in, and then it was amazing because I had a guy that was from Somalia.
Yeah.
So we're talking, and I was asking him all these questions about what is that camera? You know, does Uber watch the video, or is that your own video? I asked him like, well, how do you know? I mean, so what happens is, do they just pick whoever's closest, or how do you get a call when I make my thing? And then when I dropped him off, it was like, you know, how do I tip you? How do I do this? So he kind of showed me everything. And then when when I got in, he was, you know, he started telling me like, oh, what do you do, man? Because you look kind of big. And I said, I used to fight. He was fight. What kind of fighting? I said, I told him like MMA, and he was like, what do you mean, like boxing? I said, so it's funny because he didn't know what MMA was. So I said, oh, you know, like the UFC? He was, UFC.
Then he knows. Yeah.
And he said, you fought UFC? I said, well, I fought in UFC 13 long ago.
Yeah.
And he was, oh my God. So he was excited about that I was actually a fighter.
Yeah.
So when we got to the house, he's the one who asked me to take a picture. So then I said in return, I said, oh, can I get a picture too? Because I was just going to write about my Uber experience.
Yeah.
I was like, I can get like the actual guy that was with. And it's kind of cool because I never met anyone from Somalia. You know, I always read the news, how scary that place is, you know, and I was like, wow, this guy from Somalia.
One of my good friends is from Somalia. And
oh, really?
Yeah. Shout out to Abdi. And yeah, it's cool, man. It's you hear a lot of crazy stuff on the news, and he's told me some stories about, you know, when he's had to like go back and see some family. Sometimes you hire like armed guards to come with you. But you know, every place has got its different parts. You know, there's good bits and bad bits. So it's on my list to visit. Actually, I've never been to Africa.
Oh God, not me. I stay away from Somalia.
Oh no, you'd be surprised. I think I'm planning an Africa trip at some point. So if UFC Africa happens, I'm there. I want to do it.
Oh wow! Holy shit!
Yeah.
I don't see any desire to go to Africa unless you're going on a safari or something.
No, I'll convince you. Don't worry.
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Be an
Unless there's
adventure.
like a seminar to do, I don't think I'll be there.
Be an adventure.
But yeah, so that was an awesome experience, that
Mhm.
Uber experience.
Yeah. It's just easy, man. It's something that I've sort of taken for granted now, just because uh where we live, you kind of I don't know. I drive, but if you maybe like if you're going out and having a few drinks and that sort of thing, then you order an Uber to get home and stuff. So
So,
it's common over here in the UK. So
so I was so excited
right.
that today I went and ordered Uber Eats just for the hell of it.
Now, that is good, especially when you can see how far your food is, right?
Yeah, well, you know what happened was I ordered it. I always wanted to eat lasagna, so I love lasagna. So I ordered lasagna,
Cool.
and then I laid down and I saw the thing is okay. Your order is going to be prepared. So I'm laying there. What can you actually see the car coming to drop it off and
Yeah.
stuff?
You can see how far away it is.
I fell asleep,
Oh no way.
and then I heard the dogs barking. That my friend has dogs.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, so I peeked outside. There's nobody outside. So I'm like, oh, I wonder why the dogs are barking. I went outside. The food's on the ground right in front of the gate.
That's what they do now. Since COVID, they like leave it on the
Yeah,
ground.
so that dropped off on time. I mean, shit. So that was amazing. And so far, I mean, Uber is awesome for me. I
Yeah.
love Uber. I don't know if they have it in Japan. I gotta see, but
I
I'm
think
pretty sure they do have it in.
Yeah, I think they do. I can't remember. The thing is in Japan, right? The taxis are awesome over there, and they're kind of they're I think it's about the appeal for Uber in the UK was always that it was a lot cheaper. But in
Uh-huh.
Japan, I think the price of an Uber versus the price of a normal yellow cab taxi was kind of the same. I think there wasn't too much
Oh,
difference.
really? Oh, I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
find out. When we get back. I'll try it out.
yeah, check it out. So,
Yeah.
any sort of final thoughts on the trip? Any other highlights that we missed?
Um. No, man. I mean, the trip was awesome. I
Mhm.
had so much good people that I met. I had fun. I gambled. I had fun. I actually hit a $1,600 jackpot,
Nice.
which is pretty. I mean, people are like 1,600. Is that it? But for me, that's pretty cool, man.
For me, that's a shitload.
And you know what's crazy is I actually hit straight flushes in Paigao and on Texas Hold'em.
Nice.
So Paigao, I think that straight flush gave me like $750, and the Paigao one wore me I think 450. I was betting small, so but it was all. I mean, pretty good trip overall. Really good trip.
Yeah. So
What else? I got upgraded all the way through my trip from San Diego to Vegas. I got upgraded first class
mhm.
all the way through, so that was
Nice.
super cool.
So what's next then? You head back to Japan, and then what's the rest of your year look like?
Okay, so I'm gonna head back to Japan in 2 days. When I get back, of course, I have 2 weeks of quarantine.
Oh yeah,
That's when I play with my dogs, do yard work, play with my koi,
podcast.
And Sarah's home, so it helps out where she can go make food or buy food for me and stuff. So, okay, after quarantine's done, we got Tsuyoshi coming back. Tsuyoshi actually gonna be there for another 2 weeks in
Great.
Vegas. So he comes back. He has his quarantine, but we can train if he comes to my house. He fights on October 30th.
Hmm.
After he fights, I'm planning to head to Hawaii. And I have my bracelet shop that I want to open. I got to open up to make sales. So I'm thinking of from the second week of November to the second week of December. I'll probably be in Hawaii. So she's probably gonna be able to, if COVID allows it. He wants to come to Hawaii for a couple weeks to relax, bring his wife, just have a good time
Yeah.
before starting up training again, because Tsuyoshi has regardless of what happens in his next fight, he has another fight scheduled for December 31st, the New Year's Eve show. This is a huge show in Japan.
Always.
And so yeah, that would be that's my year, man. If anything, looking on past the year, January, I'm planning to come back out to San Diego. Of course, again, if COVID allows, there's two there's one big obstacle for me is that Japan has there's a chance that Japan might close their borders.
Really?
So right now it's closed,
Right.
but it's not fully closed. They're allowing returning residents to get back. So I'm a resident in Japan, so I can return. But if they fully close, like they did for 8 months in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if you're a returning resident, you can't get in unless you're a Japanese citizen. They're not allowing anybody back in the country unless you're a Japanese citizen. A lot of people lost their jobs because of that, because they went out for like a 2-week trip to visit their family,
Mm-hmm.
and they closed the borders for 8 months. Yeah, so that's the only danger. So we'll see. But that's the plans, probably to get out to after the new year in 2022. My first trip probably be to San Diego to work with the SEALs again.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's really interesting, man, to hear about your trip. And I've enjoyed seeing it on your social media flash up with all the different cool things that you've been up to. And yeah, I think everyone wishes you a safe flight back to Japan. And yeah, look forward to doing another episode soon.
Yeah, I'll have a real safe trip in that freaking A&A business class, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, it'll be rough, but I'll manage, man. I think I'll manage somehow. So, looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. Well, for me, thanks everybody for watching. Enson, any parting words?
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for again tuning in. Again, comment, give us ideas on anything, and subscribe and like. Right on.
Thanks, everybody.